So after I posted this video about gender, I was reading the comments and this happened. Picture a trans woman with a very strong gender dysphoria, to the point where she has powerful urges to cut her genitalia out. She could not care at all what other people gender her, and I'd still call her a woman. In her case, it's not about what other people see her as, it's about her own senses telling something's broken in her body. Fuck. So yeah, I don't know. I guess you could say that this person is technically agender, and given that by definition they don't care what other people think of them, I doubt they would mind, but at the same time, I kind of feel like this person has something really fundamental in common with trans people. So, new plan. There is no single property that makes people the gender they are. I thought there was, but now I don't think so. Now I'm thinking that body dysmorphia can make you the gender you are, and a desire to be gendered a certain way can make you the gender you are. So like a combo between gender as inner body and gender as desire. While I have your attention, there's a few things I'd like to say about that video, starting with the fact that I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I hate it so much. PhilosophyTube recently talked about how
trans scholars, both within and without academia, have been engaging with this question of what makes you the gender you are for about 50 years.
And ContraPoints on her Twitter pointed out how, in private, I found that any 3 trans people have 4 different ideas about what being trans even means. And I have increasingly had this feeling like, why have I done this? Why did I appoint myself expert on the philosophy of gender after having done a tiny bit of online reading on the topic? Why did I not do way more research? Because if I had, I probably would have found out not only did I not come up with that last theory, but it's actually extremely common. I also probably would have discovered way more theories on gender, which I'd never heard of and have still never heard of. I feel like I've shouted over a marginalized group rather than amplifying their voices, and I hope I never do that again. But it's already out there, nothing to do now but a little bit of damage control, I guess. At some point, I'd like to basically remake that video and do it better, but in the meantime, I'd at least like to clarify something. In that video, a lot of people seem to think that I was arguing for a definition of gender that basically boiled down to men are people who identify as men, which is philosophically and semantically kind of useless, and my position was a bit more nuanced than that. What I was saying is a bit more like this. Biosex men exist. Society teaches biosex men to behave a certain way, creating the social role of man. Repeated exposure to people appearing as and performing as men creates this subconscious category of man in people's minds and leads us to instantly mentally categorize some people as men, which I refer to as mentally gendering the person. And finally, my desire to be mentally gendered as a man is what gives me my gender identity and makes me a man. That was the theory I pushed for, and am now partially abandoning. So yeah, a lot of you seem to have really liked that video, but I hope to do better in the future. I kind of think this is a good sign, actually. Like, I feel like hating my old linguistics videos was the first step in making good linguistics videos. So hopefully this means I have a lot of growth ahead of me.